going on, guys? This is going to be your Phase 2 Tindral guide for Mythic. I'm going to go over the Mythic changes and what the P2 platform entails. As far as Mythic changes go, it's all going to be the same changes as there were in the first phase. And you can only pick up one of the flame seeds at a time. For each flame seed phase, right? So when you cast the seeds, each player can only take one. And we have 4 seconds to grab all of them. I believe there's going to be 12 in total that spawn on Mythic for each set. So I'll talk about loose assignments and how we're going to pick those up as well later. So we're going to be flying into P2 where the boss will cast his shield. This is where we're going to be lusting, blowing potions and cooldowns, making sure we get that shield broken as quickly as possible. As soon as that shield's broken, tanks are going to wait about 1.5 seconds to taunt the boss over back towards triangle, but not like right at triangle. You're going to kind of pull it into a position where triangle is going to be the first dispel position for the healers, right? So this is kind of what the positioning is going to look like. So as soon as we break the shield, ranged healers and ranged DPS are going to be needing to get into position to get ready for this first set of dispels. This is going to be the same kind of overlap set that's in P1. So we're going to have dispels into roots, into dragon riders. So I will go over that here. Instead of splitting it up like I did in P1, I'm just going to go over everything at once because you guys know how to handle that mechanic. So we pull the boss towards triangle. We're going to get into our pre-positioned range sets and pre-positioned melee sets. So this is going to be the Dispel set 1, Root set 1, and Flyer set 1. It's going to be literally the same as P1. We're going to use the same weak auras, do the same Dispel Dispel order, and get all of the ranged folks in and stacked to get ready for Roots. This is going to be the first set for our first flying melee team in P1. So I believe I had Jofa, Rogues, and someone else that I can't remember on the first set. Billy, I think. This is going to be your set, right? So you're going to go ahead and hit your same feathers. It's literally the same as P1 at this point. We're going to do the same thing. The only difference in the second phase is for the flyers, it's not going to be west, north, and east anymore. It's going to be southwest, southeast, and northeast, and we will have these assigned accordingly. But again, it's the same thing. You're going to fly out, you're going to grab them, and you're going to fly back. And you're going to nuke the roots, just like you do in P1. So here's where the tricky part comes. Is right as the roots are breaking, the overlap is going to be seeds. So as soon as the seeds spawn, so the boss is going to turn into a tree, a flaming tree, and then he's going to spawn some seeds. As soon as the seeds spawn, we're going to get the tanks to pull through the seeds and grab, like, probably, you know, one on the way over, or grab the furthest one, like whatever works for you. Just kind of grab one as you're running over. And as far as the seed, and the reason we do this is if you pull the boss too far out, seeds are going to spawn even further out, right? So you want to spawn the seeds because the seeds can't spawn in the fire. You want to spawn you want the boss here because then he can only spawn seeds like on top of him in a line and a little bit in front of him, right? So after the seed spawn, you're going to move him over. And I'm going to go over kind of loose positioning here for us. So I kind of had a little box and I'm rotating the box. You can kind of see, here you go. You can kind of see in relative to where you are. I'm trying to attempt to keep the people who are supposed to be pre-positioned in the range dispels get relative seeds close to them. And then everyone else should be kind of in your quadrant around the boss. That isn't to say that if there isn't a seed in your quadrant or or you haven't gotten a seed and you're in that quadrant and there's no seeds there, that doesn't mean just stand there and not get one. Please be actively looking for your seeds. It's just these quadrants are going to be your priority when they spawn. Okay, so this is not a hard assign. This is just like you're going to be in about these positions pre-spread as seeds are going off. That's the idea. Okay, and these are going to be consistent throughout the entirety of P2. So we have our dispels, right? So first dispel runs in, second dispel runs in, third dispel runs in, fourth dispel runs in, people fly up and they come crashing down as soon as your root breaks, kind of get into your quadrant and into your space to where you'll be grabbing your seed. Okay, so that's the first overlap. So it's same thing as it was in P1, except we're not trying to beat the timer for the flame rift things. We're beating the timer for the seeds in that case, right? So at this point, the boss is going to be kind of relatively over here, and we're going to be getting ready for the second dispel set. So it's the second overlap. I'm going to call this the easy overlap set because there's actually no dragon riding in this set. It's literally just dispel into seeds into root. So what's going to happen is range is going to pre-position. They're going to get their dispels. As these dispels are going off, we're going to get seeds again. All right. So again, the boss is going to be positioned close to when seeds go off. As soon as seeds are cast, you'll want to pull the boss forward, and everyone is going to grab their seeds, be pre-positioned here because we're not going to get rooted first. We have dispel into seeds into root. So dispels happen, everyone's pre-positioned, seeds come out, we grab seeds, and then we go stack under boss for root. Okay. Again, I'm going to show you positions here. Feel free to pause the video. At this point, we're all going to get rooted. So it's a very quick dispel, get your seeds, get rooted. If you happen to be out in Narnia when a root happens because you had to get a seed, we can just call for a freedom or whatever. Totally fine if we get one or two treants here. Okay, so that's the easy overlap in P2. So we had a hard overlap, an easy overlap, and then we go back to a hard overlap in P2. Okay, so what's going to happen is we're going to pull the boss forward a little bit to give our dispels some room, and it's basically going to be the same bad overlap as the first one, except we're going to have even more stuff happening at the very end here. So again, we're going to pre-position for dispels, get our 1, 2, 3. We're going to run under the boss to get rooted, and we're also going to have our flyer set. So this is going to be the second group, which are the DKs. You're going to grab yours, and you're going to fly up. Again, it's going to be southwest, southeast, northeast. Going to go up, fly back down, and crash into here, and then we are going to have seeds as soon as you crash down. As these seeds are spawning, we're also going to be getting a starfall. So it's just a ton of damage. It's dispels into roots, into seeds, into starfall. Just so much damage. And that's why there's this big stay alive here, right? So it's the same as the first overlap set in that order, right? So we have dispels into roots, into seeds, but we just have a little bit of extra damage here. And again, I'll show this. So if you were to do a summary of this whole thing, we have a bad overlap as soon as we break the shield. We have dispels into roots, into the people flying, into seeds. We have then second dispel set into seeds, into root. And then we have third dispel set into roots, into seeds, into big AoE damage to the raid. And that's all of P2. And that's it. I'll finish on this screen and I'll post this in raid resources as well. Let's have some fun. Let's get through this phase. Thanks, everybody.